Hello and welcome to your astrological vibrations for Thursday, October 12th, 2017 by Gaia Blooming. I am Mimi and our energy mantra for today is, it is worth it to take the time for my yin harmony. And again, yin is the combination of yin and yang energies. And today, yin harmony is going to be on the energy field. We have the moon in Cancer making, I didn't count how many connections, many connections through the day. And what I wrote was emo everywhere. Like emotions everywhere, emotions all over the place, as the moon in Cancer is bringing up any emotions that need to be felt, processed. And that's part of being balanced in the yin or more feminine feeling perspective of our inner balance, is going through and being present with the feelings, not getting so busy that we do not spend the time processing the feelings that need to be processed. We begin the day with the moon opposite Pluto. So I mentioned that yesterday, how we may feel that building. We may feel that place where it feels a little bit out of control and it feels a little bit comfortable and we just don't want to go there. And I think that that's one of the big things in today is like these things that feel a little bit uncomfortable and we just don't want to go there. And Spirit's like, bump, bump, bump. And if you're not honoring the bumps, then it's like, crank up the emotion a little bit, crank up the emotion a little bit, crank up the emotion a little bit, until it gets to the point where you are so uncomfortable in your comfort that you're like, okay, I'm ready to make a little bit of a change. I'm ready to make a little bit of shift. So we may feel that with that opposition. We then have the moon square the sun. So that's our second connection with La Luna, with La Luna in Cancer, bringing up all the feels, all the emotions. That is the sun square the moon. So the sun is in Libra. Sun in Libra, 19 degrees. 19 degrees is 10 energy. 10 energy is where you are worth it. So that energy is like, where are you not honoring yourself, honoring your balance, honoring what you're worth? Where are you holding this discomfort because it's more comfortable than your anticipation of any change that may have to happen? It's your anticipation of the change. It's not actually the change. It is that anticipation of it that's keeping you in this energy that's like, it doesn't feel good and it's not really worth it, but oh my God, change is so much worse. So we have that square, we have that resistance that's coming up. We're resisting this balance that's needed. So here's where universe is like, let's just crank this up a notch, just a little notch right here. Our next energy is the moon, La Luna in Cancer, squaring Mercury. Mercury also hanging out in Libra. This is master level degree. This is 22 degrees. We've been going through these 22 degree marks. So this moon square Mercury. Where is our mind getting in the way? Where is our mind being like, it should look this way, it should be this way, this is the perfection of it, this is the way it should be beautiful, and it's getting in the way of us honoring ourselves, us nurturing ourselves into the place where we need to be. Again, where is this resistance? This is a master level, so this is going to be kind of a little juggling act in and through that of holding space for your emotions and also allowing yourself to understand what's coming through in your thoughts. And there's an interesting thing that happens when emotions and thoughts get entangled. I have this in my chart. It's a very interesting thing. So you can think about something so much that you start to feel exactly what it is that you're thinking. And then because you're feeling it, you're like, whoa, I'm feeling this, so it must be true. And it's not always necessarily. It's something that has been created in your brain. So really watching that with this connection, watching, am I creating something? Am I creating a story right now in my mind? And even beyond that, is the story that I'm creating serving me? Is it helping me? Or is it keeping me kind of in this stuck space? I have the going with the flow card in reverse. So we are not really in the flow of things today. We're kind of like, nah, like, I feel like it's like, stop and go traffic. It's like, like, oh, a little bit of change starts implementing. Stop, too much. Comfort zone right here. So I feel like that may be part of it. The next connection is not actually a difficult one. It is a sextile. Sextile is harmonious. It's helpful. So we have the moon sextile Mars. Now remember, Mars is just moving on from being in a square with Saturn. So even though this is a harmonious connection, we may, I see what's going on here. It's like, all right, go back to what I was saying. Even though this is a harmonious connection, there still is some resistance that's coming up in this, as Mars and Saturn are still squaring each other. So what I spoke about yesterday with Mars and Saturn squaring each other is like, you have this idea, this energy, where it is that you want to go, but something's stopping you. Whether it's fears are stopping you, beliefs are stopping you, something's still stopping you. So here it is. Again, you have this goal. You're like, I want to feel this way. I want to feel good. I know if I do this, I can feel good. And yet, there is something that's still stopping you. And I do feel still very strongly, confirmation from Skype, I do feel very strongly that this thing that's still stopping you is a mental construct. This connection is at 23 degrees. And so it's this story. You've placed this story in your head. That's interesting too. The other thing that's coming through is that it may also be that you're like, oh, I want to do this thing. I want to move into this way, but I'm too busy. I have all these things that are going on. So even though I want to go in this direction, like I just can't because I just don't have the time. That's not the way it is. It's not it. That's an excuse. That is a block that you are putting into place because there's a part of you that's actually still scared of it. So be willing to look at that. If you have that place in mind where it is that you want to go, like you have it envisioned, I want to go to Feel Good Town, I want to do this, oh, but I can't, I'm too busy. Okay. That's where you start the work. That's where you can do the work and grab in and hold on to this. The next thing is, again, another square. We do have, it's like cardinal T-square energy going on. So it feels a little tough. It feels a little like butting your head against the wall. I'm picturing one of those stickers on Facebook. They have the sticker of like the little white rabbit thing that's like hitting its head against the wall. Like it feels kind of like that, this energy today. Moon square Uranus. Again, it's almost like this bolt of inspiration comes through and this fear is holding you back. I'm feeling that very strongly today. Like it's like this thing that's holding you back. It's not outside you. And I need you to know that. Whoever this is who's watching this that is wanting to move forward, this thing that's holding you back is not outside you. Do not think that this thing is outside you. You are not in your flow. There is some part of you that's out of balance. And today is the day to get into the feeling of this. And it may not feel good throughout the day. Like it may feel a little tough at times to get into the feeling of it. That's okay. It'll pass. Like you don't have to, like that's the thing. Once you feel a thing, you get the insight from it, you get the lesson, and then you get to move on. You don't have to hold yourself in it. And I do think with the moon shifting into Leo late in the evening, that there will be some change coming that is going to feel a bit better and help us shift out of this a bit. But for now, be willing to feel it and even be willing to feel the discomfort of what it is, because Abraham always says we need that contrast. Sometimes we need that contrast of the discomfort to push us into where it is we want to go, or to help us see, like, I do not want to be here, I want to be here, and that can help us shift, that can help push us. The moon wraps it up by connecting to Venus. I was going to say Neptune, but it's Venus. Venus in Virgo. So I was going to mention an interesting thing right now between Mars and Venus in Virgo is that both of them are opposing Chiron. And I do feel like this is part of all of this that we're talking about, is part of this balancing act, part of this healing that is coming through for us. Chiron is the wounded healer. So Chiron is offering us healing of these old stereotypes and old archetypes that we're holding on to when it comes to our yin and yang energies. And the moon today, as it's sextiling with Mars and Venus, is partnering up in this energy and allowing us to feel. The moon sextiling Mars is allowing us to feel that frustration of where it is that we're not moving forward. That moon sextiling Venus is allowing us to get creative within our yin, get beyond these illusions that we think are holding us back and be like, wait, these things outside of me, are no things. Like, not really. These things have nothing to do with what it is that I want, what it is I'm growing and building into. I have to be really vigilant, aware where this work is inside of me with this. And so that to me is where that moon is feeding into that Venus energy. You're going to get creative, hopefully get beyond these illusions in your mind to help make this shift. I also love that connection because that's a 28 degree. 28 degrees is a 10. Our day is a 10 day. So again, it feeds into the worth. You are worth giving yourself the time, your energy to these emotions to help you break through, make this shift. Another aspect that I love today that's happening that I think is going to feed into this, helping us get beyond these illusions so we can get back into our flow, is the Mercury sextile Saturn energy. So Mercury in Libra, sextile Saturn in Sagittarius. To me, this is going to give us some ideas of balance, some ideas of beauty that we can get in alignment with, that we can wrap our mind around, that we can get our beliefs hooked into. Just even a simple belief like, I am deserving of a beautiful life. I am deserving of a harmonious life. Even something like that can be that little shift that takes us out of the frustration of like, it's not going the way I want it to go, into, okay, well, I'm deserving of this thing. What am I going to do for myself to help me into this energy? Beyond that, I do have the slowing down. Slow down, be present, moment to moment. So moon is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, technically 6, because I didn't mention that, 6, 7 connections. I didn't mention the moon connecting into Chiron, moon bringing in this healing, feeling it to heal it energy. So 7 connections. It may feel a bit like an emotional roller coaster. It may feel at times the head butting against the wall as we're in the squares. You may feel this more, a little bit more strongly if you are Cancer, Capricorn, Libra, Aries. You know, the cardinal signs may really feel that, like the block. But this is part of an overall bigger process. This is just an important day in this. The feeling, the emotion, the being willing to be with it, that's going to be important for the change. It's going to be important for the completion of this, because ultimately being with it, being with the healing of it, is going to help you make your shift. All right, so to finish up from Soulful Woman Energy, I have Embracing Change. And it says, with every loss, I understand that something new is about to be birthed beyond what I can imagine. That might be part of what it is that you're feeling with this change, is the loss. Because I don't necessarily associate change with loss. Like in my head, when I think about loss, or if I think about change, it's not like, oh, I'm going to lose something if I change. That's not usually my fear. But I think underneath what I would say my fears are around change, like I'm scared, am I going to be good enough, blah, blah, blah. I think that there is a portion of loss. So that might be something that you want to look at and feel through today. Feel through it, to heal through it with this moon in Cancer. Because that may give you a key where you're still holding on to this pattern that needs to be released to help you shift things up. And this is what we're doing. Jupiter and Scorpio, we are getting into the fears. We're looking at these fears head on so that they're not in control of us anymore, so they're not in power of us anymore, so we can get into our power. Like I said, the moon will then shift into Leo. That's happening at 11:41 p.m. Pacific time. So I'm going to get into the moon in Leo tomorrow. But like I said, this shift is coming. It's a day of Cancer moon. We're going to work through it, may butt our heads against the wall, but ultimately get beyond these illusions of what you think is holding you back and instead back into your power, knowing that you do have the power to make this shift. That was a longer horoscope than I was anticipating, but it is what it is. Book a reading if you want to dive deeper into your personal chart, and I will see you tomorrow. Namaste.